The moment you decide you are rich energy, not a wounded story trying to fix itself, something in your life snaps into alignment. This is not just about money. It is the frequency you broadcast, the quiet power in your posture, the way you walk through the world, either apologizing for your existence or moving like you already belong. Wealth starts as a state of being, a calm, unwavering identity that attracts opportunities because reality cannot ignore someone who knows their value. Life does not respond to hesitation. It bends for the person whose energy says, I know who I am. I know what I am building. Right now, your future is listening. Every thought you repeat, every word you speak, every micro-action you take is sending instructions into the field around you. You are not just reacting to life. You are programming it. In this audiobook, you will learn what it means to live as if wealth is already yours. Not someday. Not when conditions are perfect. Now, you will see how your thoughts shape your direction, how your words reveal your self-worth, and how your habits expose the identity you're choosing, the small, fearful self or the disciplined, grounded, powerful one. This isn't wishful thinking. Your brain rewires itself around what you repeat. Your nervous system obeys the emotional commands you send. Your energy field organizes itself around your dominant state. Live in lack, you see lack. Live in possibility, and doors appear. Rich energy is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is refusing to shrink. It is entering a room without needing to be loud, because your presence already speaks. The most magnetic people are not the flashiest. They are the ones whose eyes say, I know my path, even before the world sees their results. As you move through these chapters, you will be asked to choose how you think, speak, act, and show up. Every decision is a message to your future. Either you are still doubting, or you are finally ready. If you're ready to rise above the noise, like the video, it tells YouTube you're choosing awareness over autopilot. Subscribe now, and don't miss the next chapter in your evolution. And remember, the deepest transformation belongs to those who stay until the very end. Chapter 1. Claim your identity, the beginning of rich energy. Everything in your life begins with identity. Not your goals, not your plans, not your effort, your identity. Who you believe you are determines what you allow, what you pursue, what you tolerate, and what you think you deserve. You cannot live a powerful life while carrying a weak self-concept. You cannot build abundance from the mindset of someone who secretly doubts their own worth, and you cannot rise into the future you want while clinging to the version of you who keeps saying, I'm not enough. Rich energy begins with a decision to believe you are already enough. Not because you have achieved every milestone, not because your life is perfect, not because you feel confident every day, but because the truth is simple. Your worth does not arrive after the results. Your worth produces the results. If deep down you believe you aren't enough, nothing outside of you will ever feel like enough. You can chase opportunities, chase praise, chase validation, chase love, chase success, and every time, it will slip through your fingers because your inner script will push it away. When identity is built on lack, everything feels temporary. When identity is built on worth, everything you create has a foundation strong enough to grow. Most people don't feel enough because they've been taught to evaluate themselves through the lens of their past. They look at their mistakes, their insecurities, their failures, the things they didn't have as children, the things they still don't have today. They tie their identity to old pain and old stories. then wonder why the future feels so heavy. That is the trap. That is where people lose themselves. They try to fix their external life without fixing the internal story. You cannot rise while holding on to a narrative that keeps you small. Rich energy requires inner alignment long before outer success shows up. It requires you to carry the feeling of worthiness before anyone else sees it in you. It requires you to walk through life with a quiet certainty. I am enough, and because I am enough, I can build more. Your job is not to wait for proof. Your job is to create the proof through belief, discipline, and action. Identity is not a static thing. It is fluid energy, always changing based on your thoughts, your words, your environment, your habits. Every time you say, I can't, I'm behind, I'm not ready, you strengthen the version of you that feels powerless. But the moment you say, I am enough, you activate an entirely different internal system. Your brain shifts, your posture shifts, your energy becomes calmer, stronger, clearer, and the world begins to respond differently. You've probably seen it in others, the ones who don't speak loudly, don't beg for attention, don't try to impress anyone, but somehow, people trust them. Opportunities find them. Rooms shift when they walk in. That is identity. That is energy. That is someone who decided long ago that they were enough, and now the world mirrors it back. You can have that too. But it starts in the smallest place. Your inner dialogue, the conversations you have with yourself, in silence. That is where identity is built. Not in public moments, not in applause, not in accomplishments, but in the unseen seconds where you either lift yourself or break yourself. Your mind is always listening. Your body is always reacting. Your energy is always responding. If you speak to yourself with doubt, you will walk with hesitation. If you speak to yourself with belief, you will move with purpose. The universe, life, opportunity, they all respond to the frequency you carry. And identity is the frequency that sets the rest of your desires in motion. So begin now. Watch your thoughts. Interrupt the ones that shrink you. Replace them with words that expand you. When self-doubt shows up, don't sit with it. Counter it. When old stories rise, don't accept them. Rewrite them. When fear whispers, don't obey. Redirect it. Say, I am enough. I am capable. I am building something real. I respect my path. I trust myself. I belong where I am going. Identity is not built by waiting to feel confident. Confidence comes from honoring the identity you choose, from showing up, from taking action, from proving to yourself that you can rely on you. That is what rich energy truly is. Being grounded in who you are, no matter what is happening around you. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need praise. You don't need permission. You need belief. You need clarity. You need the willingness to choose yourself. Make that choice now. Chapter 2. Start the day with success as your default state. Success is not an event you stumble into. It is a state you activate the moment you wake up. Before you answer a message, before you scroll through anything, before the world places its noise on your mind, you choose who you are for the day. Most people let their mornings shape them. They open their eyes and immediately fall back into the same patterns, the same thoughts, the same stories that have kept them stagnant. They wait for proof before they feel successful. They wait for signs before they take action. They wait for motivation before they move. That is why they never rise. Your morning is the gateway between who you were yesterday and who you choose to be today. If you open that gateway with hesitation, you carry hesitation into everything. If you open it with intention, you anchor yourself in clarity, strength, and direction. Success is not far away. It is simply not being activated daily. When you wake up with the mindset that success is your normal, you shift your entire identity. You are no longer thinking like someone trying to achieve something. You are thinking like someone who is already aligned with it. This is not pretending. It is choosing a frequency before your circumstances catch up. Your nervous system listens to your first thoughts. Your energy stabilizes around your first decisions. Your mind aligns with the story you choose at the beginning of the day. If your first thoughts are doubt, scarcity, or fear, the rest of the day will reinforce them. If your first thoughts are clarity, purpose, and certainty, the rest of the day will rise to match you. This is the science of priming. Your brain frames the meaning of the entire day within your first moments of consciousness. That means the first 5 minutes you are awake are some of the most powerful minutes of your life. You get to choose. Will I be reactive, or will I lead myself? Most people wake up and react. They check their phone for validation, distraction, or stimulation. They immediately give their attention away, and by doing so, they hand over their power. But you are not most people. You are building rich energy. You are training yourself to lead your life, not follow the noise of the world. When you rise with intention, you move differently. You speak differently. You carry yourself with presence instead of insecurity. You protect your time instead of leaking your attention into meaningless distractions. You don't wait for the world to choose your tone. You choose it yourself. You stop asking, "Will today be my day?" And you begin saying, "Today is my day, because I decided it will be." Success loves people who act like they belong in the world they are building. When you approach your morning with clarity, you send a message to life itself. I am leading. I am building. I am creating. I am not waiting anymore. Your mornings become the training ground where your future identity is forged. When you discipline your thoughts early, your emotions follow. When you set priorities early, your actions follow. When you choose peace early, your energy follows. You become harder to distract, harder to discourage, harder to knock off your path. You begin to move with quiet power, the kind that doesn't require noise to feel real. Success is not a mood, it is a frequency, and frequencies are strengthened through repetition. That is why a morning routine matters. Not a complicated one, a powerful one. A routine that says, I respect my time, I respect my mind, I respect the life I am building. Even simple actions, drinking water, moving your body, sitting in silence, writing intentions, reading something nourishing, become signals to your brain that you are someone who takes yourself seriously. This is how you stop drifting. This is how you stop shrinking. This is how you stop living on autopilot and start living on purpose. You don't need to feel motivated to act like success is normal. Identity is not built from emotion. It is built from repetition. If you show up every morning with presence, the rest of your life will begin to reflect that presence back to you. People will feel your energy shift. Opportunities will meet you differently. Your decisions will become sharper. Your standards will become higher. And your excuses will become weaker. You are not waking up to continue the old story. You are waking up to build a new one. So tomorrow morning, and every morning after, you rise with intention. You rise with clarity. You rise like someone who knows where they are going. You don't wait for the world to hand you confidence. You generate it. You don't wait for life to feel perfect. You lead it as it is. You don't wait for success to appear. You carry the energy of success first. This is how you begin the day, as the version of you who cannot be ignored. This is how you turn success into your default state. This is how you rise. Chapter 3. Remove habits that shrink you. You cannot rise into a powerful life while holding on to habits that weaken you. You cannot build a strong identity on top of routines that drain your energy, scatter your mind, or make you doubt yourself. Your habits are not just actions, they are agreements you make with your future. Every habit either pulls you closer to the life you want, or pushes you deeper into the life you are trying to escape. Most people don't fail because they lack talent or potential. They fail because they stay loyal to patterns that keep them small. They cling to the familiar, even when the familiar is destroying them. They hold on to comfort, even when comfort is the very thing that is stopping their evolution. They repeat behaviors that numb them, distract them, weaken them. And because those habits feel normal, they assume they are harmless. But nothing is harmless when it shapes your identity. Every time you procrastinate, you teach your brain to delay your future. Every time you scroll without intention, you teach your focus to scatter. Every time you avoid a hard task, you teach your nervous system that discomfort is danger. Every time you choose the easy path, you reinforce the belief that you cannot handle more. Your habits silently sculpt your self-image. They decide the standards you accept. They determine what you believe you deserve. They define the limits of your courage and the strength of your discipline. And if your habits are rooted in fear, avoidance, distraction, or self-neglect, they will keep shrinking your sense of self until you forget what you're capable of. To expand, you must remove what contracts you. This requires honesty, real honesty. You must look at your daily life and ask, does this behavior support the future I want, or the past I'm trying to leave? This question will reveal everything. It will expose the habits that drain your confidence, the habits that waste your time, the habits that blur your clarity, and the habits that make you feel small. And here is the truth you must face. Small habits do not stay small. They accumulate. They build momentum. They compound into identity. A single hour lost to distraction becomes a week of lost focus. A single day of skipping discipline becomes a month of falling behind. A single moment of avoiding responsibility becomes a pattern of self-betrayal. The cost of your habits is always higher than it looks. If a habit steals your energy, it steals your future. If a habit weakens your discipline, it weakens your direction. If a habit numbs your mind, it numbs your potential. If a habit makes you feel small, it will keep you living small. Your future cannot grow in a life cluttered with behaviors that contradict your goals. This is not about perfection. It's about alignment. It's about upgrading the patterns that define your daily existence. It's about choosing actions that match the identity you are stepping into. It's about removing the habits that keep you tied to an older version of yourself. You don't need to change everything at once. That only leads to overwhelm. You begin with one habit that has no place in your life anymore. One behavior that drains you every time. One pattern you know is beneath your potential. Identify it, call it out, and make a decision. Not, I hope I can stop. Not, I'll try. But, this ends now. Replace it with something small but empowering. A habit that reminds you of who you are becoming, not who you've been. A habit that reinforces your strength. A habit that returns your focus. A habit that builds your self-respect. Because self-respect is built through consistency, not through talk. And understand this, you will slip. Everyone does. That is not failure. The only failure is staying down. What matters is how quickly you come back. Strength is not built by never falling. It is built by refusing to stay fallen. It is built by resetting with intention. It is built by catching yourself faster. It is built by returning to the path again and again. Each time you return, your identity strengthens. Each time you rise, your confidence grows. Each time you choose alignment over comfort, you expand your capacity. Removing habits that shrink you is not about restriction. It is about liberation. It is about reclaiming your energy from what drains it. It is about freeing your mind from what confuses it. It is about stepping away from the version of yourself that settles, avoids, delays, and escapes, so you can step into the version who rises, builds, leads, and becomes. You deserve habits that make you feel alive, habits that make you proud, habits that reflect your vision instead of mocking it, habits that strengthen your identity instead of weakening it. The life you want cannot be built on routines that contradict your greatness. This is the moment you stop negotiating with the old you. This is the moment you stop giving power to behaviors that give you nothing in return. This is the moment you choose expansion over comfort. Remove every habit that keeps you feeling small, and watch how quickly your entire life begins to rise. Chapter 4. Protect your energy with strong boundaries. Your energy is the foundation of your entire life. It determines how you think, how you move, how you respond, how you create, how you lead. When your energy is strong, you make clear decisions. You act with purpose. You rise with confidence. When your energy is drained, everything feels heavier. Your goals, your responsibilities, your motivation, even your self-worth. That is why protecting your energy is not optional. It is essential. There is nothing powerful about saying yes to what weakens you. There is nothing noble about stretching yourself thin in the name of keeping the peace. You are not here to be exhausted. You are not here to be depleted. You are not here to carry the weight of other people's expectations while abandoning your own needs. Every time you say yes to something that drains you, you say no to your growth. Every time you allow unnecessary noise into your mind, you block clarity. Every time you prioritize someone else's comfort over your own alignment, you shrink. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your boundaries. Most people struggle with boundaries, not because they don't know how to set them, but because they fear the consequences. Fear of being misunderstood, fear of seeming selfish, fear of losing connection, fear of disappointing someone. But here is the truth. Any relationship that requires you to abandon yourself is not a relationship that supports your evolution. Your energy is too valuable to give away freely. You are not responsible for fixing people who refuse to fix themselves. You are not responsible for carrying emotional weight that does not belong to you. You are not responsible for making everyone comfortable while you burn out silently. You are responsible for your peace. You are responsible for your focus. You are responsible for your life. Life becomes heavier, not because you are weak, but because you allow too many things to take from you. You tolerate conversations that leave you empty. You stay in environments that lower your vibration. You remain available to people who drain you because you fear being unavailable. And piece by piece, your energy leaks until you no longer remember what it feels like to be strong. You must get serious about what you allow into your space. Look at the people around you. Look at the habits you engage in. Look at the conversations you entertain. Look at what you consume online. Look at the environments you stay in. Ask one question. Is this adding to my life or taking from it. There is no middle ground. Everything is either a contribution or a cost. When something drains you, it is not just a small thing. It is a leak in your energy system, and leaks eventually sink the strongest of ships. Protecting your energy means closing the leaks. It means saying no to what no longer aligns with who you are becoming. It means valuing your peace more than someone else's comfort. This is not selfish. This is clarity. Your time is limited. Your mental bandwidth is limited. Your emotional capacity is limited. If you give your best energy to the wrong things, you will have nothing left for the life you want to build. Most people aren't stuck because they lack ambition. They're stuck because they're tired. Tired mentally, tired emotionally, tired spiritually. They wake up drained because their days are filled with people, habits, and responsibilities that take more than they give. But you cannot rise from a depleted state. You rise when you choose where your energy goes with intention. You rise when you remove yourself from people who thrive on drama. You rise when you stop participating in conversations that lower your spirit. You rise when you stop apologizing for protecting your peace. You rise when you stop explaining your boundaries and start living by them. The silence created by boundaries is not emptiness. It is space. Space where clarity can breathe. Space where ideas can grow. Space where your mind can recover. Space where abundance can enter. Without boundaries, your life becomes crowded. With boundaries, your life becomes aligned. Not everyone will understand your new limits. Some will question them. Some will resist them. Some will guilt-trip you back into old patterns. That is normal. People who benefit from your lack of boundaries will always be uncomfortable when you start setting them. But your responsibility is not to be understood. It is to be aligned. Protecting your energy means you no longer allow everything access to your mind, attention, emotions, or time. It means you become intentional about what you let in and what you release. It means you stop letting the world dictate your inner state and start taking command of your emotional environment. Because when your energy is protected, you become powerful. When your energy is clear, you become focused. When your energy is strong, you become unstoppable. Say no to what drains you. Say yes to what strengthens you. Your future self will thank you for every boundary you create today. Chapter 5. Build a routine that makes you unstoppable. A powerful life is not built on intensity. It is built on consistency. It is built on the small intentional decisions you repeat every single day. The actions that shape your mindset, strengthen your discipline, and carve your identity into someone who does not break under pressure. You cannot rise into your highest potential while living in chaos. You cannot feel strong when your days are scattered. You cannot build momentum without structure. A routine is not confinement. It is liberation. It is the system that supports your greatness, even on the days when your motivation is silent. It removes the need to constantly choose, constantly negotiate, constantly debate with yourself about what to do. Structure frees your mind, so your energy can be spent on creation instead of indecision. You don't need a perfect routine. You need a powerful one. One that reflects who you are becoming, not who you used to be. One that anchors you when life gets loud. One that keeps you aligned even when emotions fluctuate. One that reminds you, through repetition, of the identity you are stepping into. The first place to start is your morning. Your morning sets the tone, the rhythm, the emotional baseline of your entire day. When you begin with clarity and intention, You enter your day centered, not scattered. But when you start with distraction, checking your phone, scrolling aimlessly, feeding your mind with noise, your day becomes reactive before it even begins. You don't need to fill your mornings with a long list of tasks. What you need are a few powerful rituals done with presence. Wake up with purpose. Move your body to activate your energy. Drink water to signal vitality. Spend a moment in silence to reconnect with your direction. Set your priorities before the world sets them for you. When you do these things daily, you stop waking up as your past self. You wake up as your intentional self. Then comes the rest of your day, the structure that moves you forward instead of scattering your energy. This structure is not about busyness. Busyness is not progress. Busyness is often a disguise for avoidance, for overwhelm, for lack of clarity. A powerful routine is built on intentional action, not chaotic activity. You choose the tasks that matter most, the ones that build your future, not just maintain your present. You set boundaries around your focus. You block time for real work. You finish what you start. You give your best effort to the tasks that shape you, not the tasks that distract you. This is how momentum is built, not through one grand gesture, but through 1,000 small, aligned decisions. Your routine should protect your priorities. Your routine should protect your mind. Your routine should protect your energy. Your routine should protect your vision. When your routine is strong, your self-respect grows. You begin to trust yourself. You see proof that you can follow through. You feel more grounded. You feel more capable. You feel more in control of your direction. And that trust, that inner stability, is what creates unstoppable momentum. There's a reason the most successful people in the world live by routines. Not because they lack creativity, not because they enjoy rigidity, but because they understand a fundamental truth. Structure creates freedom. Structure frees your mind from the burden of constant decision-making. Structure allows your creativity to expand. Structure stabilizes your emotional state. Structure elevates your standards. Without structure, your energy leaks. You drift. You react. You fall into old habits. But with structure, you grow. Steadily, calmly, powerfully. And no routine will be perfect. Life will disrupt your plans. You will have unpredictable days. You will face challenges, setbacks, moments when you fall off track. But the power of a strong routine is that it gives you a home to return to. You don't spiral. You don't collapse. You reset. You realign. You begin again. Without shame, without guilt, without fear. That is strength. That is maturity. That is power. Your routine should feel like a commitment to your higher self, a daily act of devotion to your growth, your peace, your future. It should not feel like a punishment. It should feel like a structure that holds you when life gets difficult and elevates you when life is flowing. Build a routine that makes you feel strong, not overwhelmed. Build a routine that makes you feel grounded, not pressured. Build a routine that brings out the version of you who knows where they are going. You don't need motivation to become unstoppable. You need rhythm. You need alignment. You need structure. Because once your days are aligned, your life will follow. This is how you become unstoppable. Not through force, but through daily discipline. Not through intensity, but through consistency. Not through luck, but through design. Build the routine, protect the routine, live the routine, and watch your entire identity rise to match it. Chapter 6. Show up daily like your future is watching. Every day you wake up, You are not just living another ordinary moment. You are standing in front of the version of yourself you are becoming. Your future self is not a distant fantasy. It is a real, evolving identity, observing every action you take today. And whether you realize it or not, you are always communicating with that future. Through your discipline, through your choices, through the way you show up when nobody is watching. Most people wait to become the future version of themselves. They wait for confidence, wait for motivation, wait for results, wait for permission, wait for life to feel easier. But the truth is simple. Your future does not arrive because you hope for it. Your future arrives because you behave like the person who deserves it. The future you want is built in the quiet moments, not the big ones. This means that how you move today matters far more than you know. Not just the obvious actions, but the subtle ones. How you speak to yourself when you're tired. How you handle stress when nobody sees. How you treat your time on the days when motivation isn't there. How you push through boredom, frustration, and doubt. These tiny decisions accumulate. They shape identity. They create momentum. They form the backbone of your future. The average person lives based on mood. If they feel inspired, they move. If they feel discouraged, they stop. This is why they stay stuck. They let their emotions dictate their progress. But you are not average. You are building rich energy. And rich energy is built on alignment, not emotion. Showing up daily like your future is watching means you stop negotiating with yourself. You stop postponing the actions you know matter. You stop dragging your feet through your goals. You stop letting comfort seduce you back into mediocrity. You begin treating every day like it counts. Because it does. Every step, even the smallest one, is a vote for the person you are becoming. There is a deeper truth beneath this. The habits you repeat today tell your future whether you are ready for it. Your future self is watching how you handle difficulty, how you use your time, how you speak to yourself, how you maintain discipline when life feels slow. You don't become your future self suddenly. You grow into them moment by moment, decision by decision. This doesn't mean burning yourself out. It means living with intention. It means showing up even when the world is silent. It means working quietly, consistently, without needing applause or validation. Because the strongest version of you is not forged in public. It is forged in privacy, in the moments when you choose discipline over distraction, commitment over excuses, clarity over chaos. The world may not see the work you do today, but your future does. And that is enough. Showing up with this awareness changes everything. You stop wasting time on meaningless things. You stop entertaining distractions that offer no value. You stop giving your best energy to the parts of your life that do not deserve it. You begin to prioritize your growth, your peace, your elevation. You start acting with the seriousness of someone who knows their life is going somewhere important. When you move like your future is watching, procrastination loses its grip. You can't delay your greatness when you remember who is counting on you. You become harder to discourage, harder to distract, harder to derail, because your focus is no longer tied to how you feel. It is tied to who you are becoming. And here's the secret. This awareness builds self-respect. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you reinforce a powerful message to yourself. I can trust me. That trust becomes confidence. That confidence becomes clarity. That clarity becomes momentum. And that momentum becomes transformation. You do not need to impress anyone. You do not need to announce what you are building. You do not need applause. You need alignment. You need presence. You need intention. You need to wake up every day and say, "Today, I move like my future is paying attention." Because it is. One day you will look back and realize that the days you felt tired, uncertain, unmotivated, those were the days that built the strongest parts of you. Those were the days that shaped your resilience. Those were the days that forged your identity. Those were the days that prepared you for the life you were asking for. Your future self is not waiting for perfection. They are waiting for consistency. They are waiting for courage. They are waiting for the moment you take your life seriously enough to stop drifting. The future you want is built in the present you are living. Every step counts. Every choice matters. Show up like your future is watching, because that version of you, the stronger, wiser, wealthier one, is not just waiting. They are cheering. They are urging you forward. They are ready for you to become them. And the only way to meet that future is to rise today. Show up. Even when it's quiet. Even when it's hard. Even when nobody sees. Especially then. That is when your future is watching the closest. Chapter 7. Give your best, even when nobody is looking. The work you do when the room is empty is the work that shapes your destiny. Anyone can give effort when eyes are watching, when the reward is close, when applause is guaranteed. But true strength, the kind that builds character, identity, and destiny, is forged in silence. In the moments where no one is paying attention. In the hours where there is no audience, no recognition, no instant affirmation. Just you, your commitment, and the path you chose. Most people only give their best when they feel seen. They rise when there is praise. They try when there is pressure. They push when there is accountability. But the life you want is not built on public effort. It is built on private discipline. It is built on how you move when nobody knows what you're doing. That is where identity is formed. That is where belief is cultivated. That is where rich energy is rooted. When you give your best in silence, you are training your mind to respect you. You are teaching your nervous system that your word matters. You are proving to yourself that you can trust your own commitment. And self-trust is the real currency of success. Without it, you will always rely on validation, and validation is unstable. But when you build self-trust, you become unstoppable. Not because the world believes in you, but because you believe in you. There is a kind of power that grows quietly. Every rep you do alone, every early morning you show up, every project you finish even when it's inconvenient, every time you practice discipline without anyone knowing. These small, unseen moments compound. They accumulate into a reservoir of strength. They shape your inner world. They create a sense of stability that cannot be faked and cannot be shaken. Giving your best in silence is not about perfection. It is about integrity, doing what you said you would do because you said it. Integrity is the foundation of identity. Without integrity, your future cannot trust you. Without integrity, your confidence collapses. Without integrity, your energy becomes scattered. You rise into your potential only when your actions consistently match your intentions. And understand this: the world eventually responds to what you build in silence. Not because you announce it, but because your energy changes. People feel it. Opportunities recognize it. You walk differently. You speak differently. You radiate a quiet certainty that cannot be imitated. That certainty comes from showing up when you had every excuse not to. From doing the work nobody saw. From staying committed even when motivation was absent. Most people chase shortcuts because they fear silence. They fear slow progress. They fear doing the work without immediate reward. But silence is where transformation happens. It is where emotional strength is built. It is where mental clarity expands. It is where you separate yourself from the masses who only work when conditions are favorable. The truth is, anyone can look committed when life feels easy. But the person who is consistent when life feels heavy, that is the one who rises. That is the one who becomes magnetic. That is the one who builds the kind of energy wealth responds to. So ask yourself, who am I when nobody sees me? Do you cut corners when you think it won't matter? Do you delay the work because no one is holding you accountable? Do you break promises to yourself because nobody will know? Or do you show up with the same fire, the same intention, the same standard, regardless of who is watching? Your future is shaped by your answer. When you give your best in silence, you develop a strength that becomes unshakable. You no longer rely on motivation to move you. You move because it is who you are. You move because your standard demands it. You move because the future version of you deserves nothing less. You move because your purpose requires consistency, not moods. And here is the beautiful irony. When you build in silence, you will eventually be rewarded in public. Not because you chased recognition, but because you earned the type of results that cannot be ignored. Results rooted in integrity. Results aligned with discipline. Results forged from countless moments where you could have quit, but didn't. Those are the moments that define you. Those are the moments that elevate you. Those are the moments that build unshakable confidence. Those are the moments that tell the universe, I am ready for more. Give your best even when nobody is watching. Give your best because it builds the kind of identity that transforms your life. Give your best because the person you are becoming deserves it. Give your best because self-respect is earned, not spoken. Give your best because your future is created from the discipline you practice in the dark. And remember, the world may not see the work today, but your future does. And one day, everything you built in silence will speak for itself. Chapter 8. Think rich, speak rich, move like you mean it. Your entire life is shaped by three forces: how you think, how you speak, and how you move. These three elements form the energetic blueprint the world responds to. They are not random behaviors. They are signals. They broadcast your identity, your expectations, your level of self-worth. Long before you see results, these three forces are already creating momentum, already shaping opportunities, already influencing how life meets you. You cannot think poor and build abundance. You cannot speak fear and build confidence. You cannot move hesitantly and expect the world to trust your direction. If you want to attract a powerful life, you must begin with a powerful mind. Thinking rich is not about pretending you have something you don't. It is about cultivating an internal environment where possibility feels natural. It means seeing yourself as capable, worthy, and destined for more, even before the evidence arrives. Your thoughts are electrical signals. They shape the chemistry of your brain, the stability of your emotions, the expectations of your nervous system. When your thinking is rooted in scarcity, your body tightens, your focus narrows, your decisions become defensive. But when your thinking is rooted in abundance, your body relaxes, your perspective expands, and your decisions become proactive. You stop merely surviving. You start creating. Thinking rich means replacing self-limiting beliefs with thoughts that build you rather than break you. It means refusing to repeat the narrative that you are behind, unprepared, or incapable. It means training your mind to look for solutions instead of focusing on obstacles. It means asking yourself, what is possible for me, instead of, what could go wrong? Your mind becomes the blueprint for your identity, and your identity becomes the lens through which you experience life. But thinking rich is not enough if your words contradict your thoughts. Words are not casual. Words are instructions. They program your subconscious. They shape your emotional state. They reveal what you truly believe about yourself. When you speak weakly, you weaken your energy. When you speak fear, you reinforce fear. When you speak without intention, your life follows without direction. To speak rich is to speak with clarity, with conviction, with respect for yourself. It does not mean being loud. It does not mean being arrogant. It means speaking from a grounded certainty. It means choosing words that align with the life you are building, not the life you are trying to escape. You stop saying, "I'm not ready. I'm not good enough. I never follow through. I always fall behind." And instead, you begin to speak like someone who believes in their path. I'm capable. I'm improving. I'm building momentum. I belong where I'm going. Your words are a form of self-leadership. They are the bridge between your thoughts and your reality. When your words elevate your identity, your energy becomes undeniable. But even thinking rich and speaking rich are incomplete without the final pillar. Moving like you mean it. Movement is the ultimate expression of belief. You can think powerful thoughts and speak them into the world, but if your actions are slow, hesitant, sloppy, or inconsistent, your energy sends a mixed signal. The universe responds to coherence, the alignment between mind, language, and movement. When you move like you believe in yourself, your entire reality begins to shift. Moving like you mean, it means carrying yourself with presence. It means walking into rooms with intention instead of insecurity. It means treating your time as valuable. It means following through on commitments, not because someone is watching, but because your future is. It means training your body, mind, and habits to respond with discipline instead of distraction. People can feel it when you move with purpose. Opportunities expand around those who act decisively. Life opens for those who walk with clarity. Your posture, your pace, your tone, your decisions, all of it communicates confidence or doubt. You can't hide your energy. Even silence carries information. And here is where most people get stuck. They think they need confidence before they act. But movement creates confidence, not the other way around. When you act like someone who trusts themselves, your brain begins to believe you. When you move boldly, your energy strengthens. When you move consistently, your identity upgrades. Movement is the physical form of commitment. Thinking, speaking, and acting. These three forces must align. Think like abundance is possible. Speak like you expect good things. Move like your future depends on it. Because it does. And when these three forces align long enough, something powerful happens. Your frequency changes. You stop feeling like you are forcing success. You start feeling like you are becoming success. You stop chasing opportunities. Opportunities begin seeking you. You stop surviving. You start expanding. This is how rich energy becomes your reality. Not by pretending, not by hoping, but by aligning your inner world with the life you are building. By thinking with clarity, speaking with intention, and moving with conviction. Think rich, speak rich, move like you mean it. That is how you rewire your identity. That is how you transform your life. That is how you become the person wealth naturally gravitates toward. Because when your mind, your words, and your movement align, you become unstoppable. Chapter 9. protect your peace and focus on your path. Peace is not a luxury. Peace is a requirement for a powerful life. Peace is the foundation that clarity grows from, the space where ideas form, the environment where your identity strengthens. Without peace, your mind becomes crowded. Without focus, your direction becomes scattered. You cannot create, build, or evolve if your inner world is noisy. And here's the truth most people ignore. Peace is not something you stumble into. Peace is something you protect. The world is full of distractions, some loud, some subtle, some disguised as opportunities, others disguised as being responsible. But anything that pulls you away from your path, anything that drains your mental clarity, anything that overwhelms your emotional space, is costing you far more than you realize. Most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they give their attention to things that weaken them. They react to every message. They argue with every opinion. They internalize every criticism. They consume noise instead of wisdom. They compare instead of create. Peace breaks the cycle. When you protect your peace, you protect your mind. When you protect your mind, you protect your focus. And when your focus is protected, your life becomes unstoppable. You must reach a point where your peace is not negotiable, where your time is not open for anything, where your mind is not available for everyone, where your energy is not a public resource. You are not here to absorb the world's chaos. You are here to create your own path, with clarity, intention, and discipline. Start by becoming intentional about what and who you give your attention to. Look at the conversations you entertain. Look at the people you surround yourself with. Look at what you scroll through. Look at what thoughts take up space in your mind. Ask yourself, does this help me grow or does this pull me backward? There is no neutral. Everything you allow into your life is either feeding your future or draining it. Protecting your peace means saying no, not just to people, but to patterns. Saying no to drama that isn't yours. Saying no to emotional labor that exhausts you. Saying no to conversations that steal your spirit. Saying no to environments that suffocate your ambition. It means walking away from anything that interrupts your alignment, even if it once felt familiar, even if it once felt comfortable. Peace is more important than familiarity. Peace is more valuable than comfort. Peace is more powerful than approval. And yes, people will misunderstand you. People will question you. People will misinterpret your silence as distance and your clarity as coldness. But their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to your growth, your future, your purpose. Understand this. You do not need to explain your peace. You do not need to justify your boundaries. You do not need to defend your focus. You do not need to feel guilty for walking away from what drains you. Your peace is your power. Your focus is your leverage. Together, they create the mental environment needed for success. When you protect your peace, your mind becomes sharper. Your emotions become calmer. Your decisions become clearer. You stop reacting to everything. You stop absorbing other people's chaos. You stop letting external noise dictate your internal state. You move with more intention, more strength, more direction. You become someone who responds, not someone who reacts. Most people sabotage themselves by trying to live multiple lives at once, trying to keep up with everyone, trying to prove themselves to everyone, trying to be available to everyone. But a divided life creates a divided mind, and a divided mind creates a divided destiny. To rise, you must narrow your focus. To grow, you must protect your energy. To evolve, you must guard your inner world. This doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means choosing your direction deliberately. It means understanding what deserves your attention and what does not. It means refusing to let noise distract you from your mission. The less noise you let in, the louder your purpose becomes. When you stop giving your energy to chaos, peace floods in. When you stop giving your attention to distraction, focus strengthens. When you stop living for others, alignment finally arrives. This is how you protect your path, not by controlling everything around you, but by controlling what you allow inside you. Your future cannot grow in a mind filled with chaos. Your purpose cannot thrive in a mind filled with comparison. Your destiny cannot unfold in a mind filled with distraction. Guard your peace, protect your focus, honor your path. When you master these three, life becomes clearer. Opportunities become visible. Your direction becomes undeniable. You stop getting lost in the noise because your inner world is too grounded to be shaken. Your peace is not a gift someone gives you. It is a discipline you practice. Your focus is not something you find. It is something you protect. Your path is not something you wait for. It is something you build. Choose clarity over chaos. Choose peace over pressure. Choose focus over distraction. This is how you rise without noise. This is how you grow without chaos. This is how you win without needing validation. Protect your peace, and the world will adjust. Chapter 10. Live today like wealth already belongs to you. Wealth does not begin in your hands. It begins in your behavior. It begins in the way you show up, the way you treat your time, the way you carry yourself when nobody is paying attention. Wealth begins as an internal state long before it becomes an external reality. You do not wait for abundance to arrive. You prepare for it. You align with it. You live in a way that signals to life, I am ready for more. Most people chase wealth from a place of lack. They want a different life, but continue acting like the same version of themselves. They wait for circumstances to change before they change their mindset. They wait for results before they adopt the identity that creates those results. But wealth does not respond to waiting. Wealth responds to alignment. Living today like wealth already belongs to you is not about pretending, performing, or copying someone else's lifestyle. It is about shifting from a survival identity into an abundance identity. It is about removing behaviors that reflect scarcity and replacing them with behaviors that reflect self-worth. When you live like wealth belongs to you, you stop rushing, you stop grasping, you stop begging for opportunities, you stop making decisions out of fear, insecurity, or desperation. Instead, you move with intention. You move with clarity. You move with calm confidence. The kind of confidence that comes from knowing who you are, not from what you have. Wealth is a frequency. It is a pattern of behavior. It is the way you organize your life. Wealth exists in your routines. Wealth exists in your discipline. Wealth exists in your boundaries. Wealth exists in the standards you refuse to compromise on. Ask yourself honestly, if I already had the life I want, how would I show up today? Would you speak differently? Would you choose better habits? Would you treat your body with more respect? Would you plan your day instead of improvising it? Would you lift your standards instead of lowering them to fit in? Would you stop entertaining drama, distractions, and emotional chaos? The gap between you and your future is not built on talent. It is built on decisions. When you live like wealth belongs to you, your choices elevate. You begin treating your time as valuable because you understand it is the currency of your future. You stop wasting hours on meaningless distractions because you recognize that attention is power. You stop allowing people to drain your energy because you realize that peace is productivity. Wealth is not just financial prosperity. Wealth is clarity. Wealth is discipline. Wealth is self-respect. Wealth is the refusal to shrink your life to match someone else's comfort. And once you begin living this way, you notice something remarkable. Your environment shifts. Opportunities begin appearing where there were none. People start treating you differently without knowing why. You move through your day with a sense of groundedness that others can feel. This is not luck. It is resonance. You are becoming the type of person your future recognizes. Living like wealth belongs to you also means removing behaviors that reflect scarcity. Scarcity is panic. Scarcity is hesitation. Scarcity is saying yes to everything because you fear losing something. Scarcity is keeping environments, relationships, habits, and distractions that keep you emotionally broke. Scarcity is prioritizing comfort over growth. Abundance is the opposite. Abundance is choice. Abundance is patience. Abundance is clarity. Abundance is not chasing anything. It is attracting through identity. When you live with abundance in mind, you clean your space because clarity matters. You organize your life because you respect your mind. You take care of your health because your body is the vehicle for your goals. You treat people with integrity because that reflects your self-worth. You handle challenges with composure because you know your path is bigger than temporary discomfort. And here is the deeper truth. Acting like wealth belongs to you is not pretending. It is preparing. It is calibrating your energy to match the life you are calling in. Because the future cannot arrive if you are not ready to hold it. If wealth arrived today, would your habits sustain it? Would your discipline support it? Would your identity be strong enough to handle it? Would your mindset expand with it instead of collapsing under it? This is why you begin now. Not when everything looks perfect. Not when you feel fully ready. Not when life gives you permission. You begin today by embodying the version of yourself who can hold the abundance you seek. You eat like someone who values their body. You rest like someone who honors their energy. You speak like someone who knows their worth. You work like someone who respects their potential. You make decisions like someone who believes their future is inevitable. Wealth does not make you valuable. You make wealth valuable by who you become. Living today like wealth already belongs to you is the ultimate declaration of identity. It says, I no longer wait for the world to change before I do. I change first. It says, I am no longer chasing. I am becoming. It says, I am leveling into the version of me who no longer doubts. This is how you collapse the distance between your present and your future. Not through force, but through alignment. Not through wishing, but through embodiment. Not through waiting, but through stepping into the life that is already reaching for you. Live today like wealth already belongs to you. Because when your identity aligns, wealth follows naturally, and it does not arrive as a surprise. It arrives as confirmation. Chapter 11. Become unavailable to your old self. There comes a moment in every transformation where growth is no longer about adding more. It becomes about letting go. Letting go of the habits that kept you small. Letting go of the patterns that kept you stuck. Letting go of the identity you outgrew but continued to carry out of familiarity. If you want to rise into a new life, you must become unavailable to the old version of yourself. Your old self is not an enemy. It was a survival mechanism. It helped you navigate uncertainty, fear, pressure, and pain. It kept you safe when you didn't yet have the tools, clarity, or strength you have now. But what once protected you can later limit you. The same thoughts that kept you comfortable can later keep you confined. The same emotional patterns that helped you endure can prevent you from expanding. At some point, you must choose evolution over familiarity. The old you is built from everything you tolerated in your past. Your old fears, old doubts, old insecurities, old distractions, old habits, old stories about who you think you are and what you think you deserve. That version of you is tied to outdated programming in your nervous system. It responds in ways that no longer match your dreams. It thinks in patterns that no longer reflect your potential. It clings to identities that no longer serve your purpose. You cannot carry that version of you into the future you are building. Every identity shift requires a death and rebirth, not physical, but emotional, mental, energetic. You must allow the outdated version of yourself to dissolve so the higher version of you has space to exist. This is the essence of transformation. Shedding what no longer aligns. Becoming unavailable to your old self means refusing to participate in behaviors that contradict your future. It means no longer tolerating procrastination disguised as comfort. It means no longer participating in self-doubt disguised as humility. It means no longer choosing chaos disguised as excitement. It means no longer choosing people who reflect your past instead of your potential. You must raise your standards and refuse to lower yourself to meet old patterns. Evolution is not gentle. Growth is not polite. Becoming unavailable to your old self will feel unfamiliar, uncomfortable, even lonely at times. That is because your old identity is dying, and identities cling to survival. They do not let go quietly. Your mind will try to pull you back into routine. Your emotions will try to tempt you into the familiar. Your fear will try to convince you that the old life was safer, easier, more predictable. But comfort is not safety. Comfort is stagnation. You must make a conscious decision. I am no longer available for behaviors that contradict who I am becoming. When self-doubt shows up, you stop giving it a seat at your table. When fear whispers, you do not allow it to lead. When old habits call your name, you do not answer. This is emotional self-leadership. This is identity mastery. Becoming unavailable to your old self also means taking radical responsibility for what you allow in your life. Your higher self cannot coexist with low standards. Your future cannot coexist with the distractions you've been entertaining. Your purpose cannot coexist with the excuses you've been repeating. You must stop negotiating your future with the voice of your past. Your new identity requires new boundaries, new patterns, new environments, new conversations, new energy, new choices. People around you may not understand the shift. They may say you've changed, and that is exactly the point. You are not supposed to remain who you were. You are meant to evolve, to expand, to rise. Do not apologize for outgrowing the version of you that was created in survival. Do not apologize for raising your standards. Do not apologize for choosing peace, clarity, and discipline. Do not apologize for being unavailable to the past. The moment you stop responding to the old identity, you cut off its oxygen supply. The moment you stop feeding old patterns, they lose their power. The moment you stop entertaining old doubts, they dissolve. Transformation begins the second you decide, I am no longer available for the life I've outgrown. Your energy shifts, your habits shift, your relationships shift, your direction shifts, your opportunities shift. The world adjusts to your new identity. It begins to reflect your new standards. It begins to mirror your new energy. It begins to offer you what matches your elevated sense of self. You are not here to repeat your past. You are here to become your future. And the future version of you, confident, grounded, disciplined, abundant, cannot emerge until you shut the door on your old self. Close it firmly. Lock it if you must, and walk forward without looking back. Your expansion begins at the moment of decision, the moment you become unavailable to anything that does not align with who you are becoming. Chapter 12. Step into the identity that matches your future. Every outcome in your life is built on identity, not goals, not motivation, not temporary bursts of inspiration, but identity. Who you believe you are determines what you tolerate, what you pursue, what you give up on, and what you rise to. Identity is the silent architect shaping every decision you make. Your future requires a different identity than your past. Your potential requires a different identity than your comfort. Your destiny requires a different identity than your excuses. If you want a new life, you must become the person who can hold it. Most people try to change their life while keeping the same identity. They want success without changing their standards. They want abundance without changing their habits. They want clarity without changing their environment. They want confidence without changing their self-talk. But identity comes first. Behavior follows. Reality aligns last. You build your future by stepping into the identity that matches the life you are calling in. This is not about pretending. This is not about acting as if in a superficial way. This is about embodying the emotional, mental, and energetic version of yourself that already exists in potential form. Your future self is real, not fantasy, not imagination, but a version of you formed by choices you haven't made yet. And that version is waiting for you to meet them halfway, to shift your perspective, to raise your standards, to behave in alignment with who you're becoming, not who you've been. Identity is not found. It is built. It is sculpted. It is chosen. It is reinforced through action. You begin by asking yourself the simplest and most powerful question. Who is the version of me that already lives the life I want? How do they think? How do they speak? How do they carry themselves? How do they react under pressure? How do they treat their time, their body, their energy? How do they make decisions? What do they no longer tolerate? When you answer these questions honestly, you begin to see the gap, the invisible emotional space between the life you desire and the behaviors you currently default to. That space can only be closed by identity. Identity is a frequency. Identity is a pattern. Identity is the energetic signature you project into the world. Your habits are a reflection of it. Your boundaries are an expression of it. Your standards are the evidence of it. If you want to shift your life, you must shift the energy of who you believe you are. The identity that matches your future is not built from fear. It is built from clarity. It is built from the certainty that you are capable of more, worthy of more, and responsible for more. It is built from the understanding that the universe responds to internal alignment long before external results appear. This is where science meets spirit. Your brain literally rewires itself according to the identity you embody. Your nervous system reorganizes itself according to the standards you live by. Your energy field recalibrates according to the beliefs you reinforce through action. You do not become your future self by thinking about them. You become your future self by behaving like them daily. Small decisions, small alignments, small corrections, consistent repetition. This is identity work. The identity that matches your future does not wait for motivation. It creates momentum. It does not negotiate with distractions. It chooses discipline. It does not explain itself. It embodies alignment. It does not shrink to fit. It rises to match purpose. This identity shows up even when it's inconvenient, even when results are not immediate, even when nobody is watching. Because identity is not built in public. Identity is built in private. But here's the truth. Stepping into a higher identity will feel uncomfortable. Growth always feels unfamiliar because your nervous system has not yet adjusted to the new frequency. Your mind will resist because the old identity is still alive in your system. Your emotions will waver because you no longer have the validation of your past patterns. This discomfort is not a sign you're failing. It is a sign you're transforming. Identity shifts are energetic upgrades. Your system is shedding the emotional weight of who you were in order to create space for who you're becoming. That shedding is sacred. That discomfort is data. It signals that you are walking into unfamiliar territory. And unfamiliar territory is where evolution lives. Your new identity requires the discipline to show up even on uncertain days, the clarity to say no to misaligned distractions, the strength to ignore the opinions of those who do not share your direction, the courage to let old versions of yourself dissolve. As you step into the identity that matches your future, you will notice your actions change effortlessly. You will notice your decision-making becomes sharper. You will notice your self-respect deepen. You will notice your habits strengthen. You will suddenly stop tolerating the things that used to drain you because your new identity cannot coexist with old patterns. This is the power of alignment. True alignment. Your identity becomes your compass. Your habits become your confirmation. Your behavior becomes your broadcast, and your results become inevitable. When your identity matches your future, your life has no choice but to follow. Chapter 13. Raise your standard and the world will rise to meet you. Your life will always rise or fall to the level of your standards, not your wishes, not your potential, not your intelligence, your standards. Your standards are the invisible rules you live by. They determine what you tolerate, what you allow, what you walk away from, and what you insist on. Your standards define the minimum level of life you're willing to accept, and life always mirrors that level back to you. Most people don't lack ambition. They lack standards. They want a better life, but their standards remain low. They want respect, but they tolerate disrespect. They want abundance, but they entertain scarcity. They want clarity, but they allow chaos. They want success, but they accept inconsistency. Your standards are your declaration of self-worth, and every time you raise them, you elevate the energy of who you are. Raising your standards isn't about perfection. It's about alignment. It's about refusing to settle for what contradicts your growth. It's about deciding that certain behaviors, environments, conversations, and habits are no longer acceptable in the reality you're building. When you raise your standards, something powerful happens. The world adjusts. People adjust. Opportunities adjust. Your entire life recalibrates around your new expectations. This is not magic. This is energetic law. Your standards broadcast your self-image. Your self-image attracts your experiences. Your experiences reinforce your identity. This loop is always running, consciously or unconsciously. If your standards are low, you will continue to attract low-energy situations. If your standards are high, You force life to rise. It has no choice. Your energy demands it. Raising your standards begins with radical honesty. You must look at your life without excuses, without filters, without justifications. Ask yourself, what am I tolerating that drains me? What do I allow that contradicts my values? Where am I lowering myself to stay comfortable? Where am I shrinking to avoid conflict? Where am I settling because I don't fully believe I deserve more? What habits reveal my standards, and what standards do those habits reveal? This kind of honesty is uncomfortable. It forces you to confront your own patterns. It exposes the ways you sabotage your evolution. But discomfort is the doorway to elevation. Your standards reveal the truth about who you believe you are, not who you talk about becoming, who you actually believe you currently are. The person with high standards does not tolerate self-neglect. They protect their mornings. They protect their time. They protect their energy. They protect their boundaries. They protect their vision. The person with low standards lets everything intrude. Every distraction, every demand, every draining person, every old habit, every impulse. When you raise your standards, you raise your life. This is the principle that separates growth from stagnation. But raising your standards also requires discipline, not just emotional desire. A standard is not a wish. A standard is a rule. A standard says, this is how I treat myself now. This is what I allow in my space now. This is what I expect from myself now. This is what I refuse to tolerate now. And the moment you enforce these boundaries, your identity shifts. You begin to see yourself differently. You begin to speak differently. You begin to move differently. Your old habits no longer fit. Your old relationships no longer fit. Your old environments no longer fit. Your old doubts no longer fit. Why? Because the version of you who lives at a higher standard cannot coexist with the version of you who settled. Raising your standards is not about arrogance. It is about alignment. It is about stepping into the frequency of your future self. When you say no more to what drains you, you say, I deserve better, to the universe. When you remove what lowers you, you make space for what elevates you. When you commit to a higher standard, life begins to organize itself around that commitment. People either rise to match your energy or fall away. Opportunities either align with your growth or disappear. Habits either strengthen you or expose themselves as old anchors. This is why raising your standards transforms your life faster than anything else. It is an immediate signal to your subconscious mind that you have changed identity. Once identity changes, behavior follows. Once behavior changes, reality follows. Once reality changes, momentum accelerates. But here's the truth. Raising your standards is not comfortable. You will face resistance. You will confront old patterns. You will feel moments of doubt. You will encounter people who dislike the new boundaries you enforce. You will be tempted to return to your old baseline. This is normal. It is not a sign that your standards are too high. It's a sign you're growing beyond them. The key is consistency. A standard only becomes real when it's enforced. A boundary only becomes effective when it's honored. A new identity only becomes permanent when your actions support it. You cannot raise your standards once and expect your life to change. You raise them every day, through choices, through actions, through habits, through the way you speak to yourself, through the environments you choose, through the people you allow into your world. And every time you choose the higher standard, your future moves closer. Every time you choose the higher standard, your confidence grows. Every time you choose the higher standard, you elevate your energetic baseline. You stop hoping for a better life. You start expecting one. You stop chasing opportunity. You start attracting it. You stop negotiating with your old self. You start living as your future self. Raise your standards, and your future has no choice but to rise with you. Chapter 14. The energy you hold decides the life you experience. Everything in your life, your opportunities, your relationships, your decisions, your momentum, your results, is shaped by one thing: the energy you carry. Not the words you speak, not the image you project, not the goals you write down, but the energy behind everything you do. Your energy is your signal to the world. Your energy is your frequency. Your energy is your identity, expressed without words. People feel it. Opportunities respond to it. Life mirrors it. When your energy is grounded, disciplined, and clear, life moves with you. When your energy is scattered, uncertain, or reactive, life moves away from you. This is not abstract or mystical. It's measurable. Your thoughts create emotional states. Your emotional states shape your nervous system. Your nervous system influences your decisions. Your decisions create your life. Everything begins at the level of energy. You cannot hide your internal world. Even when you pretend, your energy reveals the truth. You may speak confidently, but if your energy carries doubt, people will feel hesitation. You may set goals, but if your energy carries fear, you will sabotage your progress. You may take action, but if your energy carries old limitations, your results will be inconsistent. Your energy will always expose your identity. This is why transformation must begin from within, not by adding more tasks, not by pushing harder, not by pretending, but by shifting the internal energy that drives your behavior. There are only two energetic states you operate from: expansion or contraction. Expansion is confidence. Expansion is clarity. Expansion is abundance. Expansion is movement. Expansion is, I am capable. I am becoming. Contraction is fear. Contraction is hesitation. Contraction is self-doubt. Contraction is scarcity. Contraction is, I'm not enough yet. Every decision you make comes from one of these two states. The energy of expansion pulls you forward. The energy of contraction pulls you backward. When your energy expands, you take opportunities instead of avoiding them. You speak with clarity instead of shrinking. You follow through instead of procrastinating. You choose discipline instead of distraction. You stay aligned instead of scattered. Your energy dictates not only what you do, but how you do it. This is why two people can take the same action and get completely different results. One acts from fear. One acts from strength. Same action, different energy, different outcome. You must train your energy the same way you train your habits, your routines, your skills. Your energy becomes powerful when you stop reacting. You start responding. You stop seeking validation. You start validating yourself. You stop trying to control everything. You start aligning internally. You stop feeding your fears. You start feeding your potential. Energy mastery is identity mastery. Identity mastery is life mastery. To change your life, you must consciously raise your energetic state. This begins with awareness. What thoughts drain your power? What emotions lower your frequency? What environments pull you backward? What people trigger your old patterns? What habits weaken your presence? You cannot manage what you do not observe. You cannot elevate what you do not acknowledge. But once you see the leaks, you can close them. Protect your inner world like your future depends on it, because it does. To raise your energetic state, you must reduce emotional noise. Stop arguing with people who have no intention of understanding you. Stop explaining yourself to those who don't value your path. Stop internalizing other people's chaos as if it's yours. Stop using distraction as an escape from responsibility. Stop letting fear make decisions your future will regret. Raise the baseline of your energy through small, consistent actions that signal strength. Clean your space. Honor your routines. Choose discipline over impulse. Finish what you start. Move your body. Respect your boundaries. Speak intentionally. Breathe deeply and consciously. When your body is regulated, your energy stabilizes. When your mind is clear, your energy strengthens. When your identity aligns, your energy expands. And when your energy expands, life meets you at a higher level. You will attract opportunities that previously ignored you. You will draw in people who match your elevated frequency. You will make decisions that accelerate your growth. You will move through challenges with grounded calm. You will stop living in survival mode. You will start living in creation mode. This is the ultimate shift. You stop forcing life. You start influencing it through energy. Because energy does not lie. Energy does not pretend. Energy cannot be faked. Your energy is your truth, and your truth shapes your reality. The moment you decide to live from expansion instead of contraction, your entire life begins to reconfigure itself around your new level of power. You become magnetic. You become grounded. You become intentional. You become aligned. Your energy stops chasing. Your energy starts attracting. And when you reach this state, you understand something profound. The life you want has always been responding to the energy you hold. Change the energy, and you change everything. Chapter 15. Live with intention, not impulse. A powerful life is not built from impulse. It is built from intention, deliberate, conscious, elevated intention. Impulse pulls you into your past. Intention pulls you into your future. Impulse is reactive. Intention is creative. Impulse is survival. Intention is expansion. If you want to lead yourself into a life that feels aligned, grounded, and meaningful, you must shift from acting out of impulse to acting out of intention. Most people live on autopilot, repeating the same emotional patterns, the same thought loops, the same behaviors without ever questioning where those patterns come from or where they are taking them. They react instead of respond. They follow feelings instead of purpose. They move through life without awareness, without clarity, without direction. But nothing great is built unconsciously. Nothing extraordinary is created by accident. Every breakthrough, every evolution, every inner transformation begins with intention. Intention is the art of directing your energy instead of scattering it. It is the discipline of choosing your response instead of following impulse. It is the practice of living your day with awareness instead of drifting through it. When you live with intention, you stop moving in circles. You stop repeating cycles. You stop wasting energy. You stop sabotaging your own progress. Living with intention means waking up and asking yourself, what am I creating today? How do I want to show up? What would the future version of me choose right now? Most people never ask these questions. They let the day decide their mood. They let emotions dictate their choices. They let distractions swallow their time. But intention places you back in the position of leadership. Self-leadership. Intention is quiet power. It doesn't shout. It doesn't rush. It doesn't panic. Intention guides you with clarity instead of chaos. When you act from intention, your actions carry weight. You are no longer chasing stimulation. You are building identity. You are no longer escaping discomfort. You are shaping character. You are no longer scattering your effort. You are investing it. This is the difference between living and merely existing. Your future requires intention. Your goals require intention. Your peace requires intention. Your growth requires intention. Impulse will always tempt you. Impulse will always whisper, "Do it later." Impulse will always offer comfort at the expense of progress. Impulse will always try to drag you back into old patterns. But intention whispers differently. Stay aligned. Stay disciplined. Stay awake. Choose the higher path. Intentional living is not about being perfect. It's about being present, being aware, being honest with yourself. It means catching yourself in the moment of impulse and choosing differently. It means noticing your old patterns and refusing to repeat them. It means observing your emotions without letting them control your direction. Intentional action leads to intentional outcomes. When you live with intention, you become consistent instead of unpredictable. You become grounded instead of scattered. You become clear instead of confused. You become resilient instead of reactive. You become disciplined instead of impulsive. You stop being tossed around by emotions, environment, and circumstance. You begin to create your life instead of simply surviving it. Intention is the foundation of self-respect. Your days feel different when you know you showed up deliberately. Your confidence deepens when your actions align with your values. Your energy stabilizes when you stop leaking it into meaningless impulses. Living with intention also sharpens your boundaries. You stop saying yes by default. You stop giving your time away without thought. You stop letting external noise pull you off your path. Instead, you move with purpose. You make decisions with clarity. You protect your energy because you recognize its value. You choose environments, conversations, and habits that match your direction. Your life begins to feel clean, not cluttered, focused, not fragmented, aligned, not accidental. Living with intention turns your entire existence into a conscious act of creation. You are no longer waiting for clarity. You are practicing clarity. You are no longer chasing direction. You are choosing direction. You are no longer hoping for change. You are embodying change. This is where identity and destiny converge. This is where the internal world begins shaping the external world. This is where consistency becomes your new power. With intention, each day becomes a step toward your future self, not away from it. Every action becomes a vote for the identity you are becoming. Every choice becomes a building block of your next level. Impulse builds nothing. Intention builds everything. Choose intention, and your life will begin to reshape itself around the person you are consciously creating. Your life transforms the moment you transform. Not when circumstances shift, not when someone chooses you, not when luck arrives, but when you finally decide to embody the identity and energy that match the future you desire. Everything you've learned in this audiobook comes down to one truth. Your inner world creates your outer world. You rise by leading yourself. You rise by choosing intention over impulse. You rise by aligning your identity with the future you want, not the past you survived. You are not becoming someone new. You are uncovering the strongest version of who you already are. Beneath old fears, old habits, and old programming, there is a self that is capable, disciplined, grounded, and powerful. This journey has been about meeting that version of yourself. Transformation is not random. It is not accidental. It is the daily practice of choosing behaviors, thoughts, and energy that reflect your future, not your past. Your habits are messages to your destiny. Your standards set the vibration of your life. Your energy is the frequency that everything responds to. If you want abundance, clarity, and strength, you must embody the person who can hold those things. Now, not later. That means raising your standards, protecting your peace, showing up with discipline, and refusing to negotiate with the old identity that kept you small. You no longer wait for motivation. You no longer wait for the right time. You no longer wait for proof before you believe. Instead, you move with intention. You think with awareness. You act with certainty. You have learned that consistency is power, that peace is strategy, that identity is destiny. When you protect your energy, your focus sharpens. When you raise your standards, your reality rises with them. When you act like success is already choosing you, life begins to align around your new identity. This is your turning point. Let this be the moment you stop shrinking to fit your past. Let this be the moment you stop apologizing for your growth. Let this be the moment you step fully into the person your future requires. You already carry everything you need. The discipline, the clarity, the intelligence, the strength. Your only job now is to live in alignment with the life you say you want. Not someday. Not when it feels easy. Now. As you close this audiobook, remember, you are already enough. Now, honor it. You are already powerful. Now, act like it. You are already becoming. Now, commit to it. Your future is listening. Show it exactly who you've decided to be. Thank you for listening with an open mind and heart. If a certain chapter or insight resonated most with you, share it in the comments. You might help someone else find exactly what they need today. Keep this book saved so you can return to its words whenever life calls for reflection or guidance. I wish you health, peace, and wisdom in every step you take.